Hello and welcome to the Deck Tech. I'm Ian Duke, and with us this time is Craig Wescoe, member of Team Top Level and writer for TCGplayer.com. Craig, thanks for joining us.
Right, thank you.
Now, before we jump into the individual cards, just tell us a little bit about what deck you brought this weekend and why you brought it.
Well, shocker, I'm playing a white weenie deck. It's this time with red, so I'm playing Boros for a few sweet humans that you don't get with mono white, and the mana base is pretty good, so just Boros humans.
Sounds good, enough said. Let's jump right in, see what we got here. So it's just starting off with kind of a suite of creatures here, a bunch of creatures from Amonkhet actually, which is pretty cool to see. So yeah, walk us through each of these and what role it plays in the deck.
Yeah, so basically I want to play a turn 1 drop. I have the, this guy is really good. I don't have a lot of red sources. I have 9 red sources for turn 1. But if I can get this guy turn 1, he's kind of the main thing I want to do. And then this guy on turn 2 is super good because I can haste him and attack for 4 lifelink. Or with Always Watching, it's just 5 damage. Exert doesn't matter. So that's kind of the big thing with that guy.
That sounds awesome.
This one is just like the best 2-drop that you can get that I'm not already playing because it can make all my other guys bigger. And when we get to a 3-drop, there's a 3-drop that works really well with this because giving all your guys +1/+0 is particularly important with another red card I'm playing.
Aha, we'll see that in a second here. But 1 copy of Hazoret the Fervent, is this just kind of like a one-off curve topper type deal?
Yeah, I have 1 Gideon and one God kind of split. Mm-hmm. And the person who I got the deck from is Big Boss 5150. He 5-0'd a league with it on Magic Online. Mm-hmm. And I split 1 and 1 because the legend rule sometimes comes up and I have both of them in hand. But it's just a really fast haste creature, and my hand's usually empty by that point anyway.
Yeah, I was going to ask how often you're able to attack with it on turn 4 when you play it, and it sounds like a decent amount of the time, which is pretty sweet. Cool, so let's check out the next set of creatures here. These are some more familiar favorites here from the Shadows over Innistrad block. Yeah,
so I mean, Thalia's Lieutenant, that's the main reason to be playing all humans. That's the human payoff. And Thalia is just really good right now. People are on Etherworks Marvel, so the Marvel enters tapped, and so they can't Marvel that turn. And then a lot of times they're just dead before they even get to untap and activate their Marvel. And also, yeah, if you're trying to block, LOL, good luck.
It's also fairly hard to kill with Fatal Push, which is a removal spell that's picked up a lot of steam since Shock is no longer needed against like the Saheeli combo, for example. So
exactly.
A little bit of a change in the metagame there as far as removal spells go.
Thraben Inspector, because it's the best card in Standard and should be in every deck. Gossip Monger is the other 1-drop I went with. So if I play a turn 1 Gossip Monger, then I can transform it on turn 2, and then on turn 3, I can sort of start going to town and attacking. But also if I have Always Watching, then I can attack with all my creatures and then threaten to transform him the turn that he's also attacking. So that's kind of a little interaction with Always Watching that's really cool. And now this one is the other payoff. So it makes human tokens when it attacks, and so it pumps the Thalia's Lieutenant, and Thalia's Lieutenant pumps all of these humans, so there's an interaction there. And if I can go turn 1, the Inciter, turn 2, Thalia's Lieutenant, attack for 2 with the Inciter, and then turn 3, I play this guy, so then Lieutenant becomes a 2/2 from this guy resolving, and then I give him haste from the Inciter, and then attack with him, making 2 tokens, making Thalia's Lieutenant into a 4/4. So then I'm attacking with a 4/4, a 2/3, a 1/1, and a 1/1.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Talk about a sweet draw. And that, I imagine, has to be one of the major reasons for adding red to the deck, right?
Yeah, it is.
Very cool. Taking a look at what's up next here, of course, Always Watching, a card you've mentioned a couple times already. Yep. Sounds like a cornerstone to the deck, a lot of interesting synergies there.
Yeah, it means once I'm attacking, you have to block, because there's no attack back and race, because all my guys can play defense and block anyway. So it just forces the opponent into a situation where they're like, okay, you're the aggressor, I have to do something about that, and usually that means they just can't. You know, like our guys are bigger than yours, you have to like double block to trade with a Thraben Inspector, and just like, yeah, this card's the main reason to play the deck.
Extra point of toughness, puts you out of range of random Magma Spray or Sweepers sometimes.
Walking Ballista as well.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference for sure. Okay, let's take a look at next here. We got a couple other miscellaneous cards rounding things out here. Nice removal spell and Declaration in Stone. Card we haven't seen a lot of recently, but still an excellent card for sure.
Yeah, I don't want to play a lot of removal spells in this deck because I'm really dependent on being the aggressor. So tempo is very important. So I just need to clear out like one blocker. And so I only have the 2 Declaration Stone and then the one Gideon as kind of the other curve topper instead of the second Hazoret.
Sounds good. So next we have a peek at the mana base, I think, here. Moving on to the next here. Well, maybe you can just walk us through. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, so the lands are pretty self-explanatory. This one's really good, especially with always watching, like everything. But this one, it does two important functions. The first thing is it gives all my creatures haste. So my opponent could be like, all right, well, he's got the always watching, he's attacking with creatures, but like I'm still trying to race. And then I can play the 3/1 that I can get lifelink, so just haste him, drain life you for 5, basically.
That sounds awesome.
Or I can transform with the.
Have you actually gotten to meld Hanweir Garrison with Hanweir Battlements yet?
I haven't. I was one turn away in my feature match.
Oh man, well hopefully you get to do that sometime this weekend here.
Yep.
So that's been awesome. I think next slide is just rounding out with basic lands here, so pretty self-explanatory.
Yep, plains.
So anyway, that wraps up the deck very nicely. Deck looks great. It's kind of right up your alley as far as, aggressive white creatures and, lots of attackers. So hopefully that works out really well for you this weekend. Thanks again for joining us, Craig. I'm Ian Duke, signing off from the Deck Tech.